was a faith that was entered into, but it's not very deep. It's very shallow in character. It's willing to accept all the perks, but not the pain. I got a theology why I shouldn't suffer. Well, you got one that Jesus didn't talk about, because he talked about suffering. So did James, so did John, so did Peter, so did Jude. They all talked about suffering as being important. If we had any idea what the seed goes through to bear the fruit, when the outer part of the seed in the soil is being crushed by the pressure of the soil in order to die to itself, in order to bear fruit, all these things are all tied together for Jesus. And right now, what he's saying to them is that the same principles still apply, but not a place. I mean, I'm always fascinated by people who have statues all over their house and paintings and scriptures and bada bing, bada bong, all over the place. You walk into their house and it's like a Christian mausoleum. But don't do that in their own heart. They decorate their house with stuff, but they don't take care of their heart. They're more concerned because they've heard teachings. They'll have a pastor come in the house and throw oil and water and stuff all over the place to protect it from the enemy, while in the meantime, in their heart, they don't like their neighbor. And it's like, are you serious? Don't you realize that this is where God is actually living, is here? I mean, go ahead, decorate your home any way you want. We've got a lot of stuff around, you'll notice. There's more that I had here, but I think the bottom line is this, that where God said to Adam, dress it and keep it, now Jesus is saying to us, the keeping is the same, but he's saying, instead of tend and keep, love and keep. It's a recommissioning of taking care of your heart. It's not a call to obedience. It's just a call to keeping in your heart that which I've placed there. Consider it important. Like I said before, the reason why they'd hold on to that $20 bill, the girls, because they would be able to get something with it when they wanted, something that they really liked. Or maybe not. Maybe they would bless somebody with it. Maybe they'd see a homeless person and give it to them and bring joy. I've spoken these words to you, that your joy might be full. So you can bring that word and receive and experience my joy. Hee-haw! This is good stuff. This is where Jesus is at in the whole thing. This is what he's trying to share with them. But he surely is not calling them to anything except believe. The initial step, if you could just believe me, then you'll be able to experience my love, love one another as I've loved you. You'd be able to keep this word. It's supernatural the way it works. It's supernatural. I said a few weeks ago, I don't believe that if you just speak the word, it bears fruit, that it takes more than that. When you drop it on unbelief, it doesn't bear fruit. The enemy steals it. Jesus is just to believe. Just believe me. I'm telling you the truth. Just believe me. Keep that word in your heart, and you'll be amazed at what will take place, how it will work. The word becomes flesh. It does the work. He keeps reiterating that. He says, keep your heart, because out of the heart, all the issues of life flow. The way you see things, the way you look at things. All of a sudden, whatever situation we've got, there is this moment, we talked about it a few weeks ago, that gap between the incident happening and our response. There's that gap in there. And the gap is, which set of glasses will I look through? The ones Jesus gave me through love, and I can do that because I've kept his word. Or am I just going to revert to something else? Mainly because I believe someone or something else more, or I love something or someone else more. My failings always revolve around the same thing. It's a rude awakening to me that I'm not full of the love of the Lord that I could be and should be. There's still a love for other things, for whatever reason. It's always the bottom line for me. And I have to admit it, that that love is still being perfected. I'm not letting the Holy Spirit help me. He's there to help, and I'm not letting him. It's not so much that I'm throwing the word away. It's not that. It's a love issue. I can keep the word, but it's a love issue. I love me. I'm nuts about me. I love what me loves. And it's like, that was the problem in the first garden too. They didn't believe me. They didn't get to the point where they were really experiencing the love of communion. That's the nature of the communion, is love.
Well, that's interesting.
So you'll see other things in the notes. I spent more time on the keeping because I think that's the area where a lot of us would be confused, or it's an easy place to be confused when we think of keeping. I'm not saying it has nothing at all to do with obedience. What I am saying is that keeping is not obeying. It's not the same thing. Children, obey your parents. That's obey. Do what they say. Not keep your parents. Obey. Those are words for obey. The encouraging thing is what Paul said, to be anxious for nothing. Because that's another part of it, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Be anxious for nothing. Have you kept the word? Is it in your heart? Be anxious for nothing. But in all things, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, make your requests known, and the peace of God that passes all understanding will guard your hearts. So it's like calling in more help. I got the Holy Spirit. I got all this thing. I need more help. I'm getting anxious. Well, just, Jesus will. And that's a brother who knows because he's in prison when he's saying that. If there's any time to be anxious, it's when they're threatening to lop your head off and you're in a prison of people who hate you. I mean, they really hate you. He says, but I'm not anxious. I'm just letting God know. I'd like to get out of here by the Sabbath. And if not, that's okay too. Because I know I'm only here because you've ordained it. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.